Franchise Sports Media! Welcome to the main event. I am Damon Q. Cotton. You can follow me on all socials at Damon_the boss. Alongside me, my co-host today,
Kalani Lua, KLUA11.
And now this is the revamped version of the main event, a part of Franchise Sports Media. Going forward, this show will be a trio with Griffin Kemp. Griffin could not be here tonight, but just going forward, you're going to see us three, or a combination of us three. So I hope you like today's show, because we've got a lot to talk about. Each and every week, there's going to be so much to talk about in the world of combat sports. So, Kalani, I've got to ask you.
Yes, sir.
Marvin Gaye asked the question. I've got to ask you the question.
Okay, ask it.
What's going on?
What is going on, my brother? It's been a lot going on, a lot of exciting news, a lot of good things going on. Some of it, okay, oh man, why can't we have good things? But then some of it, woo-wee, it's on fire, man. Especially the events we saw this past weekend. Woo-hoo! I can't wait till we get into it.
All right, well, let's do a little table setting, because there are some things that, before we get into the meat of the show, the main event, as I like to call it, Jake Paul, I know this is a few weeks ago, Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, that fight was postponed. Is that something that you're kind of glad that it's postponed, or did you really want to see that fight?
I'm going to be honest with you, I'm 50-50 on it, because I think it's good, one, if Mike Tyson's health really was a question. He's already up there in age. Last thing you want for any of these guys and girls when they step in the ring or cage to go in there with any type of serious health issues going on. Last thing you want to see, it was supposed to be what, July? I don't want to come around September, October and hear that Mike Tyson suffered complications from training, weight cutting, the fight itself, and then something else is going on. If his ulcer flare was that serious, please go ahead, take care of yourself. And I was kind of looking forward to it, because we're in that space in the summer where, okay, football isn't here yet. Baseball, okay, NBA's done with. We got WNBA and fights. So I was kind of looking forward to it for that. But with the postponement, I'm also kind of excited, because now it gives a little bit of time to say, okay, how can we promote this a little bit better to get more excited? Because I don't know about you, but I felt like the excitement levels were not there that Netflix was comfortable with.
I feel like the fight for me now, the new date Mike Tyson did tweet it out, this new fight date is November 15th. For me, I am not as excited for this fight. I really wanted to, let's get it in, let's get it over with. But now that it's waiting until November, I don't know what's going to be going on in November. It's just not there for me. The sizzle is gone, where if you were going to do this, you had my attention early. Okay. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, and I do know that this is a real fight now. This would be a real sanctioned fight. There's going to be a winner and a loser. This is going on their professional records. Yeah. I don't want to see it that bad. I know that Netflix really wants to get into the live sports business, even their live programming, and this would be a great fight to kick it off. But for me, November 15th, it's too far away for me to care now. When it was more around the corner, you got me. I've got a Netflix account. I'll tune in if I'm at home that day. But this is not going to be appointment viewing for me.
Can I ask you this? Yeah. What if, because of the new date, what if they start stacking the card with legit fights, or at least other known fighters, whether it's celebrities or former athletes from other sports, if they started putting other fighters on there who we could look forward to, would that maybe get your interest going? I know they already had a fight, but for an example, when they had Adrian Peterson versus Le'Veon Bell, if they had a fight like that going on, if they had Tommy Fury taking on another YouTuber, another professional boxer taking on another one, with things like that added to this card, Tyson Paul being the main event, would that get your interest?
Well, you've already seen with MVP Promotions with Jake Paul, I mean, they showcase Amanda Serrano.
She's the co-main event.
Yes, where they do these things where they put on other legitimate boxing fights on the card. And I know that people don't like to give Jake Paul his props too much, where, hey, you're not fighting a real boxer. So he fights someone that's probably 11-3 that you've never heard of, and it's, oh, he's fighting a guy who does Uber on the side. Well, those are the guys that you're going to be fighting if you're fighting someone at this stage. No offense to anybody that's a driver out there. I'm just saying
that you and Deontay Wilder test my nerves right now.
That's just a complaint that goes out there on the internet that I saw about one of his last opponents. But so for me, I see why he's doing this, because first of all, got to get that bag. Get that bag first. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But still, even if Amanda Serrano is on this card, it is not something that I look forward to. But turning the page to, I hate to say it like this, to some real boxing.
Okay.
This past weekend, Gervonta Davis came back after 400 days away from a boxing ring. Last time we saw him was when he made Ryan Garcia say no mas after that liver shot. But now comes back, knocks out Frank Martin in the 8th round. And you could see it in the 7th round. Okay, he's about to turn it up now. He's about to turn it up now. Surprisingly, he was up on the official judges' cards. All 3 judges had him up on the cards. But Gervonta Davis, when he is able to just stalk his opponents, because to me, I get worried for a fighter when it's like, oh man, he starts slow. He starts slow. Sometimes Canelo also has this problem a little bit when it comes to starting slow. But Gervonta Davis, the way he is able to just deliver that left hand, the uppercut followed by the left hook. The uppercut's what got him, but the left hook, that just sent him to God. What did you think about that fight? Because Tank, he might be one of the biggest draws in boxing.
I believe he's right up there with Canelo, right behind him. If what he did to Ryan Garcia made Ryan Garcia say no mas, what Tank did to Frank Martin made his corner say, someone please call 911. He should have got arrested for murder in that one, for at least attempted murder. You're right. That left uppercut put him away. If he wasn't against the ropes, he's already down. He's out. The lights are on, but he's in the backyard right now looking in the shed. The left hook that put him down, that sent him to Mars. He's on a whole nother galaxy. I liked what Tank Davis was able to do because he's a power puncher, but you know what he has, Demond, that you don't see from a lot of power punchers? The cardio to go all 12 rounds. The ability for his defense. He doesn't take as many shots. He'll take a couple big shots, but he's not in there just saying, hit me 10 times, I'll hit you back twice. No, he moves around, sticks and moves, keeps his high guard, but then he can also put combinations together, and with his power, his short stature, and his ability to stalk you, it makes it difficult to say, okay, what would be the strategy to beat this guy? Some guys you can kind of figure it out like, man, look, Wilder's got amazing right hand, but if you could just get him to move backwards, like Fury did, you can get him. This guy's really good, but if you could kind of cut the ring off, come at him to the body, he's going to wear down over time. What the hell do you do with Tank Davis? You want to go to the body with him? Well, now you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to his power. You want to try to go toe-to-toe with him? Good luck. You want to go backwards? How that working out? You want to come forward? Oh, we want to end this quickly? I don't know what the hell to do with him. He's making me excited right now because I don't know what to do with him. I'm going to the maximum overdrive. I don't know what to do with Tank Davis. I love watching him.
Yo, I love watching him too. So that brings the question: you don't know what to do with him. Who would be next for Tank? Because to me, I love Shakur Stevenson, and I do think that might be the avenue to go when it comes to making a fight next. And I know that Tank's argument when it comes to making that fight is, hey, you got to get your money up. You ain't big enough for us to be doing maybe a 50-50 split. Yeah. But Shakur, I do think that he would match up well when it comes to maybe try to beat him on points. Because you mentioned cardio. One of the things that Tank said after that fight with Frank was, hey, I just, the plan was, follow the game plan perfectly. Let him tire himself out. And you don't want to hear that when, like, if that's his game plan, oh yeah, throw whatever you want. I want you to tire yourself out. And then he had him basically right where he wanted him. I think he ended it a round earlier than he predicted. Yeah, no. But I do think that Shakur Stevenson, that would be an entertaining fight for me because at 135, I have high hopes for Shakur, and I am a little biased. Shakur, he was a great interview back in the day. Yep. So I'm biased, but hey, when you're good to me, I want to see good things happen for you.
No, absolutely, and that's how it should be. One thing I think this goes into the world of business for boxing. Shakur Stevenson had a main event, primetime ESPN bout, dropped the ball. It was a boring fight. It was not something fans enjoyed. Boxers, they enjoyed. The boxing community, the casual fan, nobody enjoyed it. But that was one of those where it's like, buddy, this is your chance to go out there, put your name on the map, stamp it. You're already getting this hype because you step in the ring with Devin Haney after Lomo. You're stalking him. You're at the swimming pool parties with him. You're in the background of videos and pictures that he's doing and whatnot, smiling like, hey, I'm next. Everyone's getting excited. Now, when you get the big stage, what do? You shit the bed, which, hey, it happens sometimes. Not taking anything away from your opponent, but that was your primetime moment to solidify yourself as a main draw. 3 options, and in the same basic 3 names. Vasily Lomachenko, who's older, I get that, but come on now. He's still a name worthy of going out there and taking on. His last outing, you was able to see that, hey, this guy still got some lead in the pencil. Let's see what he can do against Tank Davis. You got Devin Haney. We're seeing the videos coming out of their sparring session at Mayweather's gym, the sucker punch, he's going at it. So if they can figure out a weight class, those two will be phenomenal to watch. And then Shakur Stevenson, obviously. I do think of the 3, Shakur probably has the best tool set and ability to give Tank Davis his toughest fight. And like you said, ditting him up on points, heck, he might surprise him with some of his own power. But as far as, like you also pointed out, 50-50, what's the split name? I got to say, Lomo and Haney are just in front of Shakur on this one because of Shakur's last performance.
I think Lomo's a little long in the tooth. I know he's still got it, but I think that it should be time to pass the torch on to someone else. But I do want to ask you, you said something there that it made me think about this, where guys are maybe a little too buddy, and you see everybody around this 135, this 140 division, where there's a lot of animosity. Where I mean, even you had Bud Crawford. He said on Twitter, where it's, Shakur would never let Tank Punk. You know, he would never let him punk him like that. He would never let Punk the way Frank did. But for me, when it comes to the guys around this division, did you see Ryan Garcia dapping up Gervonta Tank Davis after the fight?
Yeah, that was shocking.
I know that sometimes, even in basketball, where you watch team sports and people say, back in the day, you know, you would have punched somebody before you shook their hand during the middle of a game. And I'm like, hey guys, chill out. But that made me feel some type of way. The last time you was face to face with this man, he had you on your knees.
Yeah.
You said, I can't take any more of this punishment. He wins his next fight and you dapping him up like, man, I'm glad to see you do it, brother. You should be looking for a rematch or something.
Yeah. The only time I would say,
what happened to the game I love?
Well, technically, to the game you used to love, didn't they have some guy play golf with a guy on the Celtics and the Bulls? Then they play a round of golf before game 2 of the NBA playoffs? But that's neither here nor there. But the only time I think that's acceptable, obviously when you share that type of environment with somebody else, there is a bond created that lasts for a lifetime. The only time I think it's acceptable is if you went into a flat out war with the other guy. Or you did something like a trilogy, like Fury, Wilder, Gotti, Ward, where you went, hey man, we went 30 rounds with each other. It is what it is. To me, that's when I think it's that mutual respect is built. But if it's one fight, and he knock you out, hell no, I ain't dapping you up. In fact, I think it would have been better for Garcia if he would have got out there and said, I want my rematch. I'm not that Haney. You locked out Martin. I want my rematch. That would have been better. But hey, it is Ryan Garcia we're talking about here.
Something about Ryan Garcia, I think it's all a bit. I think it's all an act. But I do think he's still a little bit crazy. It's there's a little something there.
He got into it with Caleb Plant.
Yes, Caleb Plant threw a drink at him for talking bad about his wife. Shout out to Caleb Plant. You know, he local to me. Well, so Vegas guy.
Well, yeah, so there's some things that's going on with other locals and whatnot where it's almost like, hey, look, it's not for me to speak on because I don't know all the details. Okay. I'm not a gossip person, but I do know this. There's some things with other locals who respect.
Here's how we fix this. Allegedly,
there we go. There you go. Allegedly, there's some other things going on with other locals who I got more respect for that doesn't shine a good light on Caleb Plant. Much respect to how he's got himself inside the ring, but with some of the other guys, allegedly, if this stuff did happen, if it ever comes out more, then hey, it is what it is. But for now, hey man, we'll see. Yeah, we'll just put something in post under the bottom, like we are not responsible for any of Kalani's statements on this show. You know, so maybe something will be running there. I'm kidding. It won't. But allegedly, we said allegedly, so that's all that matters. Turning the page to the UFC before we get to the wildness of 303 in that new card and the Conor McGregor of it all. The UFC, they are ramping up for International Fight Week in a big way as they are bringing a monster card, if you ask me, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia this weekend before that. And this is going to be an ABC card. So this is something we can all watch. You got Robert Whittaker in the main event, was supposed to be taking on the Boogeyman. Ooh, get out of here. The Boogeyman, who I don't want to say his name because I don't know when we're going to see him. The Boogeyman who scares himself. In the UFC again. Me and Griff go at it all the time over this dude. He's a big fan of the Big Bad Wolf. I think the puppy dog is a fraud. All right, but this card, it's got grave cards. And I mention it because it's free. If you are a fight fan, you should be watching this card this Saturday, noon. Good start time, middle of the day. Might have to check it out. But then co-main event, you've got Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov. This is one of these fights that these guys didn't really want to fight each other. Two Russian fighters who trained together, and they were just saying they didn't want to do this. But sometimes I am in favor of Dana making guys fight when they don't want to. Yeah. To be honest, I thought at 135, I know that they consider themselves brothers. I know that they train together. Aljamain Sterling, Merab Dvalishvili. I thought that should have been a championship fight at 135 instead of Sugar Sean O'Malley. I know that the UFC was really pushing that guy, and the UFC, they just did not want to fight each other. And now Merab, he is going to have his chance with Sugar Sean sometime down the road. Yeah. I mean, remember, we had Daniel Cormier and Cain Velasquez as training partners as well. And it was almost seemed like you guys might have to fight each other. Then DC said, no, I'll move down to light heavyweight. I agree. I see where they're coming from because in a sense, that's like your brother. It's like, dude, we train together. We go through all this stuff together. Now me and him got to split coaches. Look, we saw what happened with Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw when it was time for them to go at it, and they kind of split beforehand. That tore everything apart. There was no, hey man, we fought. It is what it is. Let's reunite again. Nah, them dudes hated. Well, Cody did, and they made a whole drama thing about it and whatnot. But I'm with you. It's going to be interesting to see how they go about this mentally into this particular matchup. Both guys are at the top of the division, so a very impressive win here. Because Sergey Povlov fought your boy Aspinall,
Tom Aspinall for the interim heavyweight championship.
So he's right there with a great victory to say, hey, I'll be your Huckleberry next. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But it is on ABC. I like that. I don't know why the UFC, maybe the UFC starts doing more, but I love the fact that it's on ABC. We got Robert Whittaker in the main event. When does he ever disappoint? Never.
He's been on a resurgence. That middleweight, we know that Izzy is going to be fighting DDP for that championship at the middleweight division, but Robert Whittaker, he gets a win here. He definitely could be in that number one contender spot. Maybe a fight with him and Sean Strickland for the number one contender. Down to welterweight, another fight that I'm going to be looking forward to. Kelvin Gastelum, D-Rod, Daniel Rodriguez. D-Rod, I'm looking at the odds right here. This is on the UFC's website. Plus 205.
Really?
I like those odds.
Okay.
I like those odds. You know, we're not going to get deeply into the betting space when it comes to the fight game. But for me, if you were the one pick that I'll give out on today's show.
Okay.
D-Rod plus 205. Who knows?
I like it too, especially when you look at the fact that, look, Gastelum was one of the toughest sons of bitches on the whole roster, but he's going to make his second appearance at welterweight. He gets kind of known to not have the best weight cuts. I mean, he's trained up his nutrition and his game to get there, but you got to wonder how much of his energy is going to be zapped from cutting down to 170. Damn, I missed those days. But I like Daniel Rodriguez as well in this particular one. I just think this might be one of those. Gastelum is good, but this particular matchup, it might be the young dog passing the old one on this one to keep moving up the ladder.
Another fight that I wanted to touch on this card, Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozdemir. I like Johnny Walker a lot. He is a fun and entertaining fighter. He's just one of those guys in the light heavyweight division where you look at him and you can say if he fought a little bit smarter, if he was a little bit more cautious, maybe he could be there. I mean, this is a top 10 fight in the light heavyweight division. But maybe if Johnny Walker played with his cards a little bit closer to the vest, he could be in that top 5 gunning for a championship. But Johnny Walker minus 120. If you can find that, shop around. Obviously, always shop around. Or maybe even take the under in the rounds. Because if you're getting that at maybe even 1.5 rounds, I do think that I don't see this fight going to a decision.
Not at all. And I love what you said about Johnny Walker fight style, because that's true. That really doesn't body him. He's got all the skill set to be a top 5, top 3 guy at some point. But there are times where he says, hey, I'm going to spit in the wind. Sometimes I'm going to fight fire with fire, or I'm going to get a little crazy out here trying to be so entertaining that I get caught. Or my gas tank goes out a little bit, or I'm gonna get a victory, do a salute celebration, and dislocate my shoulder afterwards. It just happens, man. You know, I'm playing around a little bit, but I'm very interested in this one, especially for Volkan Ozdemir, because at one point in time he was challenging for the title, seemed to have gone away for a little bit. I know injuries and COVID and all that, but I'm very curious to see how he looks now as time has gone on. I mean, last time he challenged, DC was a champion at light heavyweight. So as time has gone on, how much has he improved, or is it still more so, hey, I can still fight? But maybe is this me starting to come down off that hill of my peak, and I'm doing it against a tough son of a gun to open up the main card. So I like this particular matchup at 205 as well. It'll help give some clarity to who potentially could be one of the near challengers for that title.
All right, so now let's get down into the main event. We'll give a full card preview next week, but UFC 303 T-Mobile Arena International Fight Week next Saturday, June 29th. We were all waiting for Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler. Going back 2 years, I want to say, to the Ultimate Fighter, where they were coaches against each other, and we were all hyped for the Conor return. But then we get word, the big press conference in Dublin, canceled. That should have been the first. Hey, your antennas go off. What's going on here? That's not a good sign.
Yeah,
Conor's going to let the people of Ireland down. I mean, I'm sure they were going on a world tour to promote this fight. And then we get news June 13th where it's, hey guys, it's official. This fight is canceled per Dana White. and you got Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka for the light heavyweight championship of the world. A great fight, a rematch for the light heavyweight title. I mean, so it's a fight that we've seen already before, but I do think that this will be a good fight. But what were your initial thoughts to Conor McGregor not stepping inside of the octagon and making us wait even a little bit longer? Hell, do you think that this fight ever happens?
Look, it's one of those where the great former middleweight champion in boxing, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, said, it's tough to wake up and it's tough to run 5 miles when you're waking up in silk sheets. Conor McGregor lives on a yacht. If he keeps his life straight, he and his kids don't got nothing to worry about for a long time. And it's one of those where you just say, look, I understand you got the warrior spirit. You got the heart. Mentally, are you still there? I don't know how far back you go in movies, but in Rocky 3, Mick told Rock, you did the one thing that's worse for a fighter. You became civilized. Like Apollo told him, he lost the eye of the tiger. Yeah, you're still a good fighter, but you ain't up here with the killers. You don't got that look in you. And I just wonder for Conor, as much as he loves the fight game, look, say what you will about it. When he's been at different fighting promotion events, or whenever you hear him talk about it, you feel the energy is still there. I don't know if he just needs to get into commentary or become a fight promoter, but the energy is still there. I just wonder if mentally, the grind, waking up every day, hitting the bag, sparring, running, nutrition, I don't know if he really is that committed to it. When he's done, guess what? I got a yacht to go to. I got a steakhouse to go to. I got this party to go to. All that thrown into you, I'm still Conor McGregor. It's very hard to do so. I was disappointed when it first happened about the Dublin press conference. Like I told you, I was looking around like, okay, did something in Dublin itself happen where they're like, hey, dude, this is out of our hands. This is going on. We got to shut down. It's a flood coming in, heat wave, whatever it is. Nothing. Then it's just like, oh, no. And then you see the news. And who I feel the most bad for is Michael Chandler. This dude is a top 5 lightweight. Could be fighting the name of the names, getting another title shot possibly like Dustin Poirier did. But he said, no, I want red panty night. I want the big payday. I'll fight the big dog in there. I'll fight the biggest name on the roster. And he's been waiting and waiting and waiting. You just got to think he was already up there in age. So you got to say, how much more does he have left? So as far as your question, does this fight ever happen? I do think it'll happen just because the UFC is saying, hey, as long as Michael Chandler's been waiting, we got to reward you with this. I just don't know if Conor McGregor is going to live up to his part of it.
Michael Chandler is now 38 years old. I do think that at this point, the UFC should say, hey, man, thanks for what you're doing. Maybe we'll just slide you a meal under the table. We'll just slide you a meal under the table, and we'll work on getting you another opponent because this fight with Conor is just not going to happen. And you mentioned Rocky 3. Yes, one of my favorite movies, but comparing him to Mr. T, a bit of a long shot. I'm kidding. I know you weren't comparing him, but you said that.
That is true.
But in this scenario, I had to say, so is Michael Chandler Mr. T? Is Michael Chandler? That's what he should do. He should just go to Conor McGregor. Hey, woman.
Oh,
call out his wife. Do anything that you can to make this.
You know what you can? Is that what you really talk? You told him the truth. I'm number one. Number one. Oh, that'll
go after. I don't know what he's gonna have to do.
Put the feather in your ear. Get a mohawk cap. Do it all.
I mean, he already considers himself black with his black sons. I mean, so whatever Michael Chandler thinks that he can do. He even called him out on Monday Night Raw. Conor McGregor, get your candy ass back into the octagon. And I feel so bad for this guy because it is just not worked. And he has been waiting, putting all of his eggs in the Conor McGregor basket. And it is just, in my eyes, it's just never going to happen.
And it's unfortunate because stylistically wise, this is the type of fighter you want Conor to fight on his comeback.
Yes.
I don't want to, look, I would love to see him take on some of these other guys. But outside of that, no, I want to see you take on somebody that's going to stand up with you. That's going to go blow to blow, fire to fire with you. That's going to stand in the box. Now, granted, Michael Chandler does have a wrestling background, but hell, you've been watching him long, just like I have. When his career has been his dominant standpoint. He's like Yoel Romero. Yeah, I got wrestling in my background, but I don't really use it like that. This is the fight you would say that's a good testing point to see if Conor McGregor is still Conor McGregor or is he just another guy now whose time passed. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, the fight guys don't love us. We just are not getting this. What's interesting, and we talked about it on the preview, this is the second time.
Okay.
That a big fight.
Yeah.
Has been kaput. And they go to the same two most reliable guys and say, hey, you want to run it back? Alex Pereira, Yuri Prochazka. So hopefully those guys are getting a little incentive as well, because I believe they said Pereira was like 222. Or something, so he's got to drop some tremendous weight in short.
Oh, that's not a heavy cut for him at all. I think that's part of the reason why he moved up to light heavyweight, 205 instead of 185, because we saw how gaunt he looked at 185 with that physical drain that was taxing on him.
Yeah, and I know we'll talk more about that there, but I just thought that was a very interesting.
No, that's a good nugget.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, man. Here's the thing. If this fight was to happen, you want it to happen this year. When? You're not gonna put it in the Sphere. One, it's Mexican Independence Day. Two, that's not a big enough arena for Conor McGregor to return because it's gonna be one of the biggest gates. You want him here in the States. They're not going to Ireland. Why not put him in the UK? I don't know. August, December, maybe?
Here's another thing. I do think that whichever card that Conor McGregor, if and ever he eventually comes back on, it's gonna be a card where Conor is the main event. Not only is he the main event, but there isn't going to be the fantasy booking of, hey, maybe we can make this a super card because of the draw that Conor McGregor is, and then how you're going to have to divvy up the pay-per-view buys at that point.
Yeah.
You can't put another champion on that card because it wouldn't make sense financially to the UFC. Because when you think about the dollars that are going to have to get shelled out to that card just due to the magnitude of Conor being on it, they might just have to squeeze in an extra number pay-per-view just to make it the Conor pay-per-view.
Well, look at 300. They were giving out 300K bonuses. The big fights that they had on there. Granted, I understand none of them are on the same level of Conor McGregor. But now you look at what's been going on and you say, okay, if we do a Conor McGregor card, we got to have this be a stacked card. They didn't just replace the main event. They replaced the co-main event, injuries to that one as well, and they put another fight in there. So it's one of those where you say, because it's Conor McGregor, we don't need to necessarily stack it with big names. We might be at the point where we have to do that at least for 1 or 2 fights, just for the sake of if something happens, hey guys, this fight card isn't falling apart. We still got so-and-so on here.
Yeah, you can say that, but you might have to just scrap the whole card. We saw that they almost did it here.
I mean, they don't have to do title fights, but you mean to tell me having a Charles Oliveira and a Max Holloway fight on there?
You would have to do something, and I hate to say it as if the words are going to come out of my mouth. You would have to do it something gimmicky where it is, hey, we're going to fight for the BMF title.
Yeah.
Where not so much that these aren't obviously elite fighters at the top of their game who have big fan bases of their own, but you would have to entice fans with something. You're not going to get lucky like this every time Conor McGregor pulls out of a fight. And this is respectable due to injury. I know that he's never pulled out of a fight, so first time for everything.
Yeah.
But for me, the risk being the UFC, I would just say, hey, Conor, it's okay. But I know that payday that they are banking on when this actually does come to fruition, you don't want to throw away a payday like that.
No, I mean, no, you don't. And I think that's why Michael Chandler will continue to wait because he knows, dude, I'm about to get them pay-per-view numbers. I'm about to get the bag from here. I'm probably going to get a fight night bonus performance here for either fight of the night, performance of the night, one of them. Because if I'm putting them out, our fight is going to be fight of the night already. Performance of the night just depends how it ends, which one of us goes out. But that's how it's going to be in this particular one. So, he's trying to wait off, but it is his first time ever pulling out of a fight. Considering how many kids he's got, I wouldn't think he pulls out at all. But I do hope he gets better and healthy. Seriously, and all jokes aside, because he did suffer that massive leg injury. And I believe they said it was a fracture to the same leg as well. So hopefully it's not something that's going to be lingering around and that he can't come back from. I just wonder if mentally, if Conor really does want to come back and fight.
Let me throw something at you real quick.
Okay.
Would the UFC, I have to say it like this, could they screw Michael Chandler over? Would you be more enticed if they said, hey, Chandler, hey, thanks for being the company man. Like I said, we'll sneak you an extra $2 million if it comes off this way. We'll take care of you and those adopted sons. We got you. Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor one more time, because Poirier, he's ready to hang them up. I think I saw an excerpt that he said if he would have won the lightweight championship against Islam Makhachev, he said he would have retired on the spot there in the ring. So I do think that there is more money in the UFC if they say, hey, let's do this one more time. Instead of Michael Chandler, would you be more interested in, what would this be, Conor Poirier 4 as opposed to Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler?
You know what? I'm interested in seeing those guys fight again. But to pull the rug underneath Chandler after all that he sacrificed, it would leave a bad taste in my mouth, if I'm being honest. Only because I've done everything you guys have asked. Like you said, I called out my shot after a big win. I went on Monday Night Raw, and instead of me just saying, hey guys, thank you, UFC, no, I called out this dude, stood on a chair so people could see me, yelled it out, I'm the baddest dude around, I've done the show. Even on the show, he told Conor, dude, I'll fight you at 185 if you want to. All you do is you're told, get out of here. Yeah, I've done everything you guys have asked me to do. I've been a good sport. I went down to Florida. I was going to go to Dublin. I stayed in Tennessee. I've done everything you guys have asked. And now you're doing this? I mean, maybe if they told him he was in a co-main event and could still get pay-per-view points, maybe. But yeah, that is something when you say, okay, if Conor McGregor loses, maybe he retires. So do we want to just put him and Dustin Poirier together? What about a certain, hey, yeah, Conor, we just re-signed Nate Diaz, brought him back. You no. Want to finish this off?
No.
Diaz McGregor 3?
That does not interest me at all.
You say that now, but let that first press conference happen. You're going to be geeked out.
It doesn't.
Okay. I don't believe it, but I don't know. But that's the only thing. Is Dustin Poirier the only guy worthy of changing up McGregor Chandler? Is he the only one? Or is there because there's other big fights for him out there. But if you were to switch up Chandler for someone else, and not because of injury, is Poirier the only name out there worthy of that?
In my eyes, yes. And Michael Chandler did go on a lengthy social media post today on IG, and he said, don't feel sorry for me. He doesn't want our sympathy.
Okay.
There's uncertainty right now, what's going on with him, in his fight career. But he doesn't want our sympathy. He doesn't want us to feel sorry for him. And he's going to keep trucking along. I mean, I know he says he doesn't want our sympathy, but I really do feel bad for the guy at this point.
How can you not?
Because he was that guy that was supposed to get his shot against the Golden Goose. And now that it's not happening, I'm already fantasy booking what could the other fight be. And that's no disrespect to Michael Chandler because he is an all or nothing fighter.
Very much so. He will never give you a boring fight. What about Max Holloway?
See, that's something
Max
I would
Holloway,
be
Conor
interested
McGregor, BMF, rematch, 155.
Conor McGregor is never getting down to 155 again, brother.
You don't think so?
No. That man is juiced to the gills. Did you see him in Roadhouse?
Yeah, phenomenal job he did, I thought. Phenomenal job. Yeah, but that was well over a year ago. He's got to be coming down. Wait, I thought him and Chandler was going to be at 155.
No, it was at 170.
It was okay. So it was
at
170. Okay. My mistake. I thought I saw lightweight, so my mistake on that one. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't. Yeah, it's possible he never gets down that far again. But couple big matches down there. A lot of big matches. Yeah. Well, look, if he doesn't get down to 55, Poirier's finally going to move up to 170.
Sure, I believe that more than Max. A guy who's riding them.
Max will fight anybody. Max, no, hold on. I got to defend my island brother on there. Max Holloway will step in the ring with any damn body. Oh, he's 170? I'll wear an extra shirt on the scale. Hey, bro, he come from the island. He don't care. He eat some chicken katsu, get a loco moco, get some spam musubi. He don't care about none of that. Anytime, anywhere. I'm the baddest mother for a reason.
Well, thank you. I'm sure that Max Holloway's got the check in the mail for you.
Oh, no. See, you wasn't on here before. Us Islanders, we stick together, bro. That's my oos right there. We still got to go to Zippies and whatnot, Max. So when you get a chance, and I'm assuming you're paying, just throwing it out there because you're the champ and all that. But yeah, no, Max Holloway, he ain't scared. That's how we built. That's how we ain't scared of nothing. You want to fight John Jones? Pfft, easy work. All right. Easy work. Stipe? Who? DC? Come out of retirement, I'll put you right back. I bet you he even put Tyson Fury out.
Okay. Love the confidence that you have in Max Holloway.
Oh, Max will tell you himself he'll do it.
Yeah, he'll tell you himself. And who am I to doubt the man?
I'm just saying, he is the BMF.
He is the BMF in the UFC. And that's about all the time that we have here today. I am Damon Q. Cotton. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Damon_the Boss.
Kalani Lua, KLUA, Instagram, and on X.
And next week, we will be back with a more extensive breakdown of UFC 303. Don't miss it.